let's take a look at this continuous loop. And this is the loop, and this is the process that we're going to take over the next year to put you through a loop of assessment to get a sense of what this is doing. So the first piece is about establishing objectives and outcomes, and we're going to spend the rest of the day talking about that. Then you have learning opportunities that you end up collecting and analyzing data from. And then you use those results in a program review or in a conversation to improve the teaching and learning. Okay? So this is the continuous loop cycle that occurs, that we see, and it becomes very, very important. There was a great article written by a group of individuals out of Oregon State, and they were actually in the Student Affairs Division of Oregon State that were required to go through this process. And here is the opening paragraph, and I thought it would be good to share it at this point just to give you a sense. Wow, it worked, but it took a lot of time. We had to meet. We had to write down what we wanted students to learn and come to agreement. We had to figure out what it would look like when we saw it. Okay? So that question about how do you know that students are learning. And then we had to figure out how we were going to design learning experiences to make sure that they were learning what we wanted them to learn. Okay? This seemed to take forever. But once we figured it out, wow, what a difference it has made. And the part that was most surprising was that the students liked what we did. And I think that's a telling paragraph. I thought that was just such a great article that they wrote about student affairs and about coming through this learning process. Because the students want to know how, you know, I agree that things are subjective. There's no question, but they still want to understand, how do you come up with how well I did? How do I know how well I did? How do I know what I'm doing? Okay? And it becomes important to be able to do. So there are 4 steps, and today we're going to work on number 1 and a little bit of number 2. When I come back, we're going to do another piece, which is looking at the wider program and how it all fits together. And then in the spring, we're going to have a whole thing about evidence and collecting evidence and what that means and how you analyze it and what do you need to do for that and what are the criteria for it. And then the final is sort of putting all the pieces back together and taking a look at the overall program.